Welcome to ConvoCourses. My name is Bruce, and this is going to be kind of a different format podcast. If you happen to watch my old ones, normally I put them on YouTube immediately. Right now, I'm kind of on the go, and I'm in my hotel room, but I'm able to knock out these podcasts. And there's a couple things we're going to talk about on this one. And I'm trying to just help you guys out with everything that I've learned over the years doing cybersecurity and doing specifically security compliance, and how to get into the cybersecurity and IT space, and things I've learned along the way. I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been doing this since the year 2000. I actually was in the military for 8 years. Where I was working as a physical security guy. I was a security forces member, protecting resources and assets, and then doing law enforcement, things like that. So I'm very familiar with security, physical security controls. But then I cross-trained into cybersecurity. Well, actually, I cross-trained into IT, and we call it computer operators. But I did all things related to IT, including cybersecurity, and that's where I got into security compliance. So what I'm going to talk about in this one is going to be something I learned about resumes. I realized why my resume has been doing so well, and it's because it's ATS, or Application Tracking System Compliant. Let me explain what that is and kind of walk you through how to do it, and I'll try to be as audio as possible, knowing that some people only listen to these podcasts. But that being said, if you happen to watch this on YouTube, then I'll have some examples for you as I'm talking through it. Another thing I'm going to talk about, since I happen to be remote, is working remotely and some of the pros and cons, and got some notes here. Pros and cons of working remotely, some of the benefits of it, and some of the countries that a lot of Americans are going to, and why. All right, let's start off with the actual remote work. I'm going to take you guys here outside for a second here, outside of my room. It's going to be a little bit of a change of audio, so just bear with me, but you'll still be able to hear me well. All right, here we go. All right, so I'm not able to do this live. Normally I do these live, and but the internet's not good enough here. And so that was one of the things I talked about in previous videos and previous podcasts, where whenever you go to a place, it's about noise pollution is a factor sometimes. Anyway, that being said, let's get into this. I want to show you guys where I'm at. So I'm at a resort here in Manila, Philippines, and I've been in the Philippines for about a month. I've been off for about 2 months. I'm at the end of that, and I'm actually looking for a job right now, learning some new things about the job market, which we'll talk about. Okay, so what I'm looking at, if you happen to be watching and listening to this on audio, is it's just a group of hotels with a bunch of pools below. It's beautiful. It's kind of a rainy day here in Manila. There's a freeway that's not too far from here. That's what you can kind of hear that far away. There's an airport not too far from here, and then you can hear people below that are in a pool and stuff. So that's where I'm at. I'm like on a balcony of a hotel resort. Pretty nice. It's called the Urban Residence. Crazy that I've gone to so many hotels I forgot the name of this place. And even those places nice. Anyway, okay. Let's talk about the benefits of remote work. You hear a lot of people talking about remote work, and you're probably wondering, like, why did everybody talk about this? Why is it so popular? What's going on with it? Well, there's a few reasons, and everybody has their own reasons, but I'm going to name some of the most popular that come to mind. One of the biggest ones is when you're working remotely, especially in other countries, is that it's cheaper to live in other countries. A great example is Manila. Manila is one of the most popular places that Americans will go and move to and work from, because it's just cheaper to live here. The food is cheaper for us. The cost of living here for Filipinos is not great. There are problems here. I've been here long enough to see some of the the frayed edges of a country. And that's the thing, when you go to a country, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Like you find there's issues in every country, just like in the US. So a lot of people just talk up on a country, but you got to look at all sides of it whenever you travel. Anyway, one of the biggest benefits that Americans will come here and some other countries is that it's cheaper for us. It's cheaper for us cost of living wise with food, much cheaper with your medical. Is much cheaper. It's cheaper to fly here and do medical and dental than it is to do it in the US. It's ridiculous in the US. It's cheaper for rentals are cheaper. Like these rentals here, these are kind of an exception because this is a private residence that are in a resort, so this is going to be a little bit more pricey. But this place I'm at, which is incredible, which has pools, has a clubhouse, that right over there, that dome-looking building, that donut-shaped dome-looking building is a clubhouse that has food, has amenities such as the gym, it has all kinds of stuff there, and it's 3 levels. But this place I'm at is $45 a day for this resort. There's like 4 pools here. There's an Olympic-sized swimming pool over there. This place is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Not the best service I've had in the Philippines. Philippines has some of the best service in the world. This place is kind of so-so. I don't know why the management's not as great here. But this place is incredible. A place like this will run you probably $300 a day in the U.S. No joke, because this is like a 5-star resort. Here it's $45, and I found some of these places that I'm looking at hundreds of different units across from me, and these units, some of them are only $27 a day. You could literally live here for $27 a day. $27 a day, that's like $1,000 a month in a resort. Think about that, living in a resort for $1,000 a month, or $30 a day. Yeah, about what, $30 a day? It's for 30 days, $900 a month. So that's still cheaper. Like living in a place like this, has a kitchen, it has internet, it has full bathroom. Like there's a laundry service downstairs. Like you could live here in this resort for $900 a month. There's a mall not too far from here. It's walking distance with a grocery store. Everything you need is here, and $900 a month. A place like this costs you $900 in the US. So that's one of the main reasons that people will travel and live in another place. Some places that people consider besides the Philippines that are cheap to live for us, for American citizens, include Portugal, Thailand, Vietnam, Mexico, and Colombia, and there's a few other ones that are comfortable for us to live, and Dominican Republic, that's another one. Comfortable for us to live, much cheaper living standard, and just your life is going to be completely different there. You can literally retire in some of these places, and this is $900 a month is crazy here. That's a crazy price. You can get something that's doesn't have as many amenities for about $200 a month, $300 a month. A pretty good place for about $300 a month. So, and then the food is cheaper. The transportation is fairly cheap here, much cheaper than the U.S. It's all around, like your whole living expenses is going to be different. So that said, you don't need a 100K job. You don't need a 6-figure job to live in a place like this. You have a 6-figure job here, you are living like a freaking king here. So that's one of the main reasons that people will go and live remotely. So it's worth your time to look into. Everything's cheaper. Medical, your dental, your food, your rentals, your transportation, your whole living, your whole life is much cheaper in these countries that I named. Now, one thing you should know is that there's some countries that you probably can't go to or don't necessarily want to go to, because you would not be able to work in an American or a Canadian or some other countries. You can't work from the following countries doing remote work. I'm just going to name a few off the top of my head that are going to be much harder for you to do remote from. And those, especially for American companies, because there's like an embargo. Anytime there's a country with an embargo, it's going to be a lot harder for you to live there. And one off the top of my head, one is Iran. Iran has some kind of sanctions, and it's not that us American citizens agree with this stuff, but that's neither here nor there. If you're trying to work from this cheaper location and you're trying to live there and stuff like that, it's just, we're not necessarily the ones making the policies or controlling what's going on, right? So it's funny because politically we don't necessarily align with what the government's doing with the sanctions and stuff, but it's a reality that we have to deal with. So one of those is Iran. Iran has all these sanctions. There's most American companies that are paying you big money. You will not be able to work from there. You can get there. It's even going to be hard for you to get there as an American. Another place is going to be, of course, North Korea. Obviously. It's funny because it's so obvious, it's so crazy. It's gotten, the relationship has been so bad between the U.S. and North Korea that this is not even a question anymore. You go there, especially if you're ex-military or something, you're going to end up in prison somehow, So unless you're Dennis Rodman or something, I don't know. It's just not a place that you're going to be able to go. That being said, South Korea is probably a place you could live, but it's a lot more expensive in South Korea. So it's a lot of people don't go there because of that reason, unless they have family or friends or their fiance or spouses there or something like that. Another place that you probably are going to have some issues with is going to be Venezuela, and it's just unfortunate because it's such a beautiful place with beautiful people, beautiful culture, and all that stuff. It's just sad. But Venezuela, I know people are going there, but to work from there, because what's happening with the economy, because you don't know, like the embargo thing is kind of flaky with the U.S. Every time there's a new president, they put some kind of stuff against Venezuela. Venezuela's probably not a place you could work remotely. Another place is Cuba, and another one that's really unfortunate because it's such a beautiful place. It's so amazing. It's so close. It just makes sense to live there. And it's just like, because of all this stupid stuff going on between our governments, we as Americans are going to have a hard time getting in and out of there, especially if you're working from there on anything with any kind of government information. It's just going to be harder for you to work there. And then all this political stuff happening now with I don't know if you've heard, but like Russia and some other countries that are going and making bases and stuff and having relationships with, it's just going to go out of control here real soon. So it's not a place I would recommend that you, even if you have the ability to do it, to work there for an American company and go there. So those are the three that I would. I'm sure there's many other ones. Maybe I'll make another video where I explain some other countries that are not good to go to work remotely. That's about it for those ones. Let me see if there's any other things I want to talk to you about with remote work. I think that's it for remote work. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about something I've discovered. Something I've been doing right for many, many years. I'm going to actually change locations here so that we can get a better sound. Change up the ambiance a little bit. Okay, here we go. Going inside the room. Are you on? Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. My partner's doing some work there, so I'm gonna stay out here. Oh, this is a podcast, so that's what you get. Real life stuff going on. So anyway, I wanted to talk to you guys about ATS. So what I discovered is all these years I've been doing something very right with my resume. My resume, if you didn't know, whenever I put my resume out there, I market my resume, it does really, really well on LinkedIn, on Dice, on Monster, and all the other job sites. It does really well. And the reason why I discovered is because I keep it simple. It's just a plain, it's not fancy, it doesn't have tables, it doesn't have pictures, it doesn't have anything, any kind of overlays, nothing like that. It's just a plain document, white page with my name on the top, contact information, and then job experience, work experience. It has certifications. It has education. It has. That's about it. It's pretty simple. Like, I think I recently added skills, but it's pretty basic, and I normally put it in doc. Turns out all that stuff is what you're supposed to do so that it's ATS compliant. Now, what is ATS? ATS is a application tracking software. It's basically like a database or software or a server that many Fortune 500 companies use to pull in the resumes and track and monitor and do analysis and do artificial intelligence analysis on resumes. It pulls them in. If it has the correct format, if the correct format is incorrect, it'll reject your your resume, right? And if you want to know what I'm talking about, whenever you sign up for a job, think of this. Have you noticed they always have you do an application? The reason why is because your resume is not compatible. Normally, people's resume is not compatible with the system that company has internally. They have an internal database that pulls in all the information. It has a database of your name, where you've worked in the past, all your experience, your skills, your education. It pulls all that stuff in, and it compares you to other candidates. And once you're in their database, they have this big pool of people that they can pull from and put into different positions. And it allows them to put you quickly into those different positions and then call you. If your contact information's there, they'll contact you via email or via phone and say, hey, Bruce, we've got this position for you. Are you available on this day? We noticed that you have all the skills that we need for this position. That is an ATS. It allows them to very quickly get you in their system. And if you have a resume, what they'll do if your resume is right is they'll pull all that information from LinkedIn or from Dice or from Monster or from other search sites, and they'll put that into their database just instantaneously. But that's only if your resume is out there in the correct format with all the correct information. And that's why you have to fill out your complete profile. It has to be accurate. And then upload your ATS compliant resume. That means a plain blank resume with the headers, all that stuff is in correct order. And one of the things that I noticed that my resume didn't get right was the dates of work. The dates of work were a little off because there's a certain format that they want you to have in there. So ATS, just having a simplified resume has helped me to get all these jobs and all these offers and all these opportunities over the years. And then now recently I've fine-tuned it. I've gotten back into my resume, ripped it apart, rewrote it, and now I'm like really getting into the weeds on each one of the key words that they want to see and the format, tightening it up so it's perfect, so that whenever they pull in those resumes, mine is going to just come in and with no problems. So that is what ATS is, and that's something that's really helped me out to get jobs and stuff. I would like to, at some point, what I'm going to do for you guys that watch me on YouTube is I'm going to walk you through how I actually apply using my ATS resume, and how you can maximize your opportunities to get these different jobs, high-paying jobs, by the way. That's about it, guys. I've got about 3 days left here. I'm a little bit sad about it. I've got to go back into the workforce here real soon. It's been a great vacation here in Manila, and I actually traveled to different parts of the Philippines. This Philippines, the reason why I come here so often is because it's been like a second home to me. I have, over the years of these high-paying jobs, I've been able to buy some condos here. Got in early on some condos, and got some friends and family and stuff here, and that's why I come here, and I know where things are, kind of have a better feel for this particular country. Next country I'm going to go to, I've been here so many times, it's time for me to move. to another place. I'm probably going to go to like Indonesia. I'm going to try that. At some point, I would like to go to Europe and countries in Africa, and those are things that are going to be in the future for me. I would love to go there and visit. But right now, going to places I know that I'm familiar with, that I can go by myself and feel familiar enough to where I feel safe. So that's why I'm here, and that's why I come here so often. Would I get a job here? I noticed somebody asked me a question. They said, "Hey Bruce, like, would you get a job here?" And they said, "Hey, I'm looking for a job in the Philippines. Could I do it?" You totally could do it here. If I was doing that, I've got my kids and stuff are in the U.S. I'm not doing it myself here, and it's a bit too crowded personally for me to live here. Maybe in the far future, and buy some land somewhere and then go live there or something, or have my spouse buy the land. You got to be a Filipino citizen in order to buy land here. Anyway, what I would do if I wanted to get a job here is I would, first of all, tighten up my resume, right? I would tighten up my resume, and I would look for either a job in Metro Manila or in Cebu. I'd open myself up to those. I'd look at all the job sites for Cebu and Metro Manila, because those are like the biggest cities here. I'd apply for those jobs, get my resume right, put it out there, and I noticed, just kind of glancing at it, that there's a lot of banks that need the kind of work that I provide. So I would apply for all of those, but my biggest play would be on remote work. I would look for remote work in the U.S. because it's a hot job market right now for IT and cybersecurity. I would look for remote jobs that would allow me to actually work from home, and then I would fly here and work from here. That's what I would do. If I was so inclined to actually work here. And at one point I really considered it. I'll actually consider bringing my kids here and like living here like 3 months out of a year or something like that. It didn't work out, so now here I am by myself, just enjoying my vacation here. And I think maybe in the future what I'll do is I'll look for some other country that I could live in. We probably won't be, like I said, Philippines is a little too crowded, but I'm kind of headhunting for different countries that I could live in for a while. I'd like to live in a country for like a year and just to see how it feels to actually be a resident of that country. So I would look for a place that will allow me to stay there for some time. And just off the top of my head, Portugal keeps coming up. Portugal is one that I would look into. Maybe Thailand. I really love Thailand so much. Indonesia is one I want to check out. Those are that are within my price range, and I feel more comfortable in those places because I've been to Southeast Asia so many times that I kind of know what to expect. And then I would like to learn the language and stuff like that. So I'd be pretty serious about it if I did do it. I think that's about it for this particular podcast, guys. Let me just end this on letting you get, for those of you, this is where I'm at. It's pretty nice. Got a few more days here. It's been great. Just enjoying the culture, enjoying the atmosphere, and the humidity. I love humidity. Back in Colorado, we don't really have that. It's very, very dry, mountainous and stuff, which is beautiful. Has its own, amazing beauty, but it's not the Philippines. You know what I mean? We're not too far from the ocean here. Feels so amazing here, and I'm gonna miss it. Once again, I'm gonna miss this place. And next time, I'm gonna go to another country, and hopefully, I'll be able to do some podcasts from there too. All right, talk to you guys later.